Before we get into this video, you know we have to read through some of these comments to see what's going on. Shout out to Cap Foudy. I really hope that the Democrat Party and the legacy media never recover from this election. Wow, I think a lot of people, feel that way. Shout out to Kathy, not journalists, just activists. And that's generally what we see when we watch these liberal interviews and stuff like that in liberal news media. It's just a bunch of activists with a screen and with a microphone and a camera on the screen. That's really what you see. Unfortunately, the party of anti-common sense, the party with the woke agenda, all that kind of stuff. And then shout out to Matt Rondu. I think I said that there. I think I said that right. I don't appreciate being lectured about reporting while I'm in. Well, quote, I don't appreciate being lectured about reporting while I'm in the middle of spreading dishonest propaganda, unquote. Zesty snowflake. Okay, then. So there's that. Shout out to Matt. And so, it's the more and more that we see, they're panicking. They're panicking and they're furious and they're fed up and they're all over the place. It's just horrendous. But that's that. Before we get into this video, shout out to the King Squad, the King Squad family, and the King Squad Elites. You guys are the bomb.com. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. You guys are awesome. And don't let anybody tell you any different. With that being said, be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here, share these videos, and comment down below what you think. Let's get right into the video. Shout out to the Liberal Hive Mind, and let's go. I will give my commentary periodically throughout the video, more so on the back end.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so we've covered a whole lot of moments, let's call them, on this channel over the years, but I have to say, this might be the moment, the greatest moment in mainstream media history. We are reaching a boiling point, folks. It seems as though people have just had enough. They're fed up of the lies, the propaganda, the disinfo, and the frustration is starting to reach a peak. People are saying, you know what? Enough is enough. Enough of the lies, enough of the propaganda and misinfo. And that, my friends, is exactly what happened in this clip right over here. We've got a top journalist at the Washington Post who straight up quits during a live stream as his colleagues essentially are acting as DNC surrogates. Let me tell you, it doesn't get better than this, folks. Let me show you guys exactly what happened, and of course, let's have a conversation. We got some stuff to get into. So let's roll the tape. All right, friends, so let's first play the clip and then, of course, get into the details. What the actual point of contention here is.
Is it me, or does it seem like this week Donald Trump is laying the groundwork for contesting the election by complaining that cheating was taking place in Pennsylvania by suing Bucks County for alleged irregularities? And this is on top of his continual assertion that if he loses, it's because of cheating.
Yeah, that's what he's been laying the groundwork for this, just not in the last week, but in the last umpty-ump months. No election can be fair unless in Donald Trump's mind, unless Donald Trump wins it.
No, that's cap. That's cap. That's cap. That's super cap. That's super cap. Okay, we literally have footage of them burning ballots. Okay, mail-in ballots, and I believe that was in PA. That was in Pennsylvania. Then we have footage of, I believe it was Kentucky. They're literally, when you press Donald Trump's name on the screen, it literally clicks and checks off Harris Waltz. Like, what the heck is that? Like, we literally see this stuff. We literally have video footage. You can literally go on X, on YouTube, and I actually show these clips on my videos. Okay, we literally have footage. All right, the cheating is real. Then in PA, they're literally shutting down the lines early with using the police. Okay, I think they just addressed that recently within these past few days, but we see it going on. It's right in front of our faces.
And
what about when they tried to assassinate him? Was that not cheating? Like, when they tried to use lawfare against him, is that not cheating? I mean, you gotta really start to wonder, like, how did these people get this far in age with this type of like mindset? Like, where's the logic at?
I think we are going to see him both rev up his supporters to contest elections outside of courtrooms and go to every courtroom he can in America where it's relevant to make whatever arguments he can, no matter how far-fetched. We saw
Jonathan, I've got to
last time, but it didn't work out this time.
Finish, Hugh.
It may not work. That may not happen this time. And now I'll let you go, Hugh.
Well, I've just got to say, we're news people, even though we're at the opinion section. It's got to be reported. Bucks County was reversed by the court and instructed to open up extra days because they violated the law and told people to go home. So that lawsuit was brought by the Republican National Committee, and it was successful. The Supreme Court ruled that Glenn Youngkin was successful. We are news people, even though we have opinions, and we have to report the whole story if we bring up part of the story. So yes, he's upset about Bucks County, but he was right, and he won in court. That's the story.
I'll let you keep going, Jonathan.
No, I don't appreciate being lectured about reporting when many times you come here saying lots of things that aren't.
I won't
based
come
in
back,
fact.
Jonathan. I'm
But
done.
Woo!
I'm done. This is the most unfair election ad I have ever been a part of. You guys are working. That's fine. I'm done.
So Ruth, you wrote a column this week, and
Wow. I mean, can you blame him, honestly? Can you blame him, though? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Comment down below. How do you guys feel about that? Okay, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I always enjoy seeing what you guys have to say about everything. I kind of personally, I understand it. I mean, after a while, if things don't start to add up, you gotta start subtracting. Okay, it doesn't make sense. It's this anti-common sense, woke agenda stuff, nonsense. Refusing to see the world for what it really is. And after a while, there's only so much you can take. I mean, that's kind of how it strikes me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We're gonna run that scene back.
The whole story if we bring up part of the lawsuit was brought by the Republican National Committee, and it was successful. The Supreme Court ruled that Glenn Youngkin was successful. We are news people, even though we have opinions, and we have to report the whole story if we bring up part of the story. So yes, he's upset about Bucks County, but he was right, and he won in court. That's the story.
I'll let you keep going, Jonathan.
no, I don't appreciate being lectured about reporting when many times you come here saying lots of things that aren't.
I won't
based
come
in
back,
fact.
Jonathan. I'm done. I'm done. This is the most unfair election ad I have ever been a part of. You guys are working. That's fine. I'm done.
Dang.
So Ruth, you wrote a column this week ending with this line, and actually I think this is perfect. We're going to put it on the screen. You wrote, "You want to know the stakes of this election? Not only democracy, but decency." Talk more about that, Ruth.
Okay, I'm collecting myself.
Oh, Ruth froze. Ruth is frozen. So hang in there, everyone. We're going to see if we can try to get Ruth back to this We're gonna get Ruth back in a moment. This is First Look, Washington Post Live's nonstop shop for news and analysis, and Ruth is back. So I'm going to read that quote back again from your column, Ruth, where you wrote, "You want to know the stakes of this election? Not only democracy, but decency." We lost her again. Everybody, if you've been watching First Look, you know that these conversations can be interesting, contentious. You just saw Hugh Hewitt leave the conversation, which is lamentable, unfortunate. It is what it is.
Now, firstly, before we get into anything else, we should probably react with a video meme here. This pretty much suffices and tells you exactly how I feel.
I'm proud of you, you know that.
Mr. Rogers.
I hope you do.
I am so impressed with Hugh Hewitt. I'm just going to say it might be a little bit crude, but it takes balls to do what this man did. And what it really feels like to me is we're really reaching a boiling point. People are just done with it all. It's so obvious what's going on. People are waking up. I mean, look at the last couple of weeks, this incessant, constant stream of lies and misrepresentations. All to whose benefit? Obviously to Kamala Harris's benefit and to the detriment of Donald Trump. It's obvious what's going on. It's obvious that these people are not journalists, but rather paid propagandists. They're shills. And who wants to work in an environment like that? At least who, in good faith, would want to be part of that? It's completely insane. I mean, let's get into the context a little bit so we can understand this man's frustration. Essentially, here's the story. There was a bunch of videos coming out of Bucks County in Pennsylvania.
I have a question. I have to bring someone here about 4 o'clock to vote. Are they
I'm
gonna
going to ask you to talk to this.
Are they gonna turn everyone down?
I'm going to ask you to talk to this gentleman because the voting is closed right now.
It's closed.
I just want you to talk to this gentleman.
We have the right to vote until 4:30.
I get you. Here's
Why
what
is it
happened.
closed?
Let me explain it to you.
Please.
Okay. This process is very slow and grueling.
That doesn't matter if we're online.
Very slow and grueling.
Doesn't matter if we're online by 4:30. We have the
The
right
reason
to
why it
vote.
had to close was because a high volume of people wanted to do this. Slow and grueling.
Well, then they
So
have
they
to
had
wait till everyone's.
They had to cut the line at 1:45.
They cut the line at 1:45.
1:45.
You hear that, everyone? They cut the line at 1:45. See that, everyone? They cut the line, even though we have till 4:30.
Essentially, there was a couple of videos suggesting that people were getting kicked out of the line, not because they arrived too late after 5 p.m., but being kicked out around 1:45 p.m., well before the deadline, and so the RNC decided to file suit.
Now, I know that a lot of you today have seen these videos of people being turned away at the polls in places like Delaware County and Bucks County. And last night, we even saw one of our great local leaders, Val Biancaniello, arrested at the polls for telling people to stay in line. All she was doing was telling folks, stay and vote. They took her away in handcuffs. Folks, here's what's happening. Democrat election officials are seeing our numbers. They're seeing our turnout. They are seeing us breaking early vote records across Pennsylvania. They are terrified and they want to stop our momentum. We are not going to let them suppress our votes. We are going to fight. I'm proud tonight to tell you that the Trump-Vance campaign has just filed a huge lawsuit against Bucks County for turning away our voters.
And essentially, the suit alleged that voters who were in line by the 5 p.m. deadline to apply in person for mail-in ballots were improperly turned away, thereby violating their voter rights. And then in response to the lawsuit, Judge Jeffrey Trauger of the Bucks County Court of Common Pleas ruled that the Board of Elections had violated the state's election code. The judge then extended the deadline for voters to apply for and receive mail-in ballots until 5 p.m. on Friday, November 1st, 2024. And so that's pretty much the gist of it. But Jonathan Capehart and his fake news colleague decided, rather than reporting on what actually happened, which was the Trump campaign and the RNC winning a lawsuit because people were being improperly turned away, they're gonna drum up this narrative that Donald Trump is claiming that there's all kinds of cheating and he's trying to fight in court. To be honest, I don't even really know what they were getting into, but obviously they weren't reporting on the actual facts of what had happened in Bucks County. And Hugh Hewitt said, I'm not gonna be a part of a DNC ad, because that's essentially what it was, propagandizing the news, the current events of the day. And Hugh Hewitt's decision to stand up not just for himself, but for the integrity of journalism, in my view, highlights a rare moment of courage in an industry that is so infested with left-wing groupthink that it hardly feels surprising anymore. Every American should be enraged by the state of the media today. Journalists are not only showing open disdain for conservative perspectives, but are actively sabotaging honest reporting on critical stories, like this one unfolding in Bucks County, for instance. Hewitt's frustration isn't just about one misleading headline, it's about a system that has been irredeemably corrupted by a one-sided agenda. I mean, it's no secret. The overwhelming majority of journalists in the mainstream newsrooms are Democrats, and they often operate under a smug facade of neutrality. Ooh, CNN, the most trusted name in news. Yet instead of allowing open discourse or reporting on the actual facts with even an ounce of fairness, they're more likely to be found parroting the same recycled talking points. They're essentially campaigning for the DNC. Isn't it obvious? I mean, almost every major news outlet is endorsing Kamala Harris without hesitation. This is propaganda. There's a propaganda problem in the United States of America. The same message repeated across every every screen, every paper, and every radio frequency, and when dissent arises, it's dismissed or misrepresented, or in Hewitt's case, mocked until the dissenter has had enough. It's getting to a point where people just can't take it anymore, and who can blame them? If you have even an ounce of intellectual integrity and honesty, it's impossible to watch the mainstream news. You turn it on and it's the most frustrating experience that you could possibly imagine. Trust me, I do it all the time. Take an hour to sit down and watch Jake Tapper's show on CNN, and you're going to be trying hard not to pull the hair out of your scalp. And it's no wonder why conservative independent media is on such a rise. I mean, just take a look at this, for instance. This is old data from 2022. It's from an old website called Transparency Tube, but you'll see here's the partisan right and here's the partisan left. What do you notice? The partisan right is essentially Fox News and a bunch of independent sources. Meanwhile, the left is all mainstream left-wing sources, almost entirely, and those who aren't are some way tangentially connected to left-wing media advocacy groups and left-wing networks, like Brian Tyler Cohen, for instance. I mean, it's no wonder why that is. If you want to work in mainstream journalism, you have to be a Democrat. It's pretty much the only way, unless you're some sort of seasoned veteran or you're part of one of the odd outlets like the New York Post or Fox News that represent the other side. The simple fact is conservative views are not accepted in the mainstream media, and so what did people have to do? They had to go and make their own networks or start their own shows on YouTube, like Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool are doing. You know, we just don't really see independent media on the left. We see establishment powerhouses with one goal: to perpetuate a liberal agenda under the guise of progress and justice. Meanwhile, those of us who dare to challenge their narratives are forced to fight for every inch of airtime, or forced to fight to even exist on alternative platforms, as the mainstream authoritative sources label us as radicals, just for challenging their status quo. Simple fact is, American media institutions have been totally taken over by the left, and they simply just aren't reporting news anymore. They're propaganda outlets trying to get Kamala Harris elected. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed.
Shout out to the liberal hive mind on this clip. Really awesome clip. And honestly, that the ending part really spoke volumes, because not only do they control the media, the mainstream media, but it's the clips. Short form content is a huge thing these days, as well as long form. Long form and short form are super huge these days. But all the debates that Kamala Harris does against Trump and everything, you notice that she really never says anything. She really doesn't give any policies, no real answers. She's kind of like shuffling the whole interview and just like, is this thing almost over yet? And that's kind of what you see. But it's in those little bites that she gives, the little snacks of pieces of what she says. Those turn into clips that get pushed out like relentlessly to the main throughout the mainstream media, which can leave people really confused. And this is why I say this is why we do what we do over here, because we're focused on helping people navigate through the jungle of the mainstream media's lies. All right. To somebody who really doesn't pay attention to the election and everything, you would think, oh yeah, Trump is orange man bad. All right, that's the kind of comments that I see when I'm on YouTube or on X. People think that. All right, this is no disrespect to Trump. I'm just saying, there's people that literally think that, orange man bad. And so from there, they'll think that, Ku Klux Kamala has the answers. She's on point. But Trump, oh brother, Hitler reincarnated. But that couldn't be further from the truth. You're literally, making a complete you have a whole assessment off these little clips that you saw. You need to literally do your own research, and it's becoming increasingly difficult when they're trying to censor the truth and shut people down that are literally, pushing out what's actually going on out here. Okay. And that's just that. Platforms like this platform right here, you have to kind of like, you have to maneuver. I won't say walk on eggshells, but you more so have to maneuver. I mean, where's Doug in Exile at? I mean, seriously. But and there's plenty more. But yeah, shout out to Doug in Exile, by the way. I believe he's over on Locals. But yeah, it's just wild these days. We have like Rumble. I don't really know too much about Trump's Truth Social, but I know we're here on YouTube, and then there's X. So yeah, that's pretty much the platforms that I know that where you can pretty much kind of get the truth out to a degree. YouTube is a little bit more liberal, but Rumble and X, you can definitely it's more or less restricted, I'll say. But that's my own thoughts on this video, you guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. And yeah, as far as that journalist goes, I completely get it as far as why he walked away. Okay, after a while, you get sick of the lies and sick of the dishonesty. It's disgusting. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I always appreciate what you guys have to say, all that kind of stuff. And I'm interested in hearing what you feel about that. Okay, what would you have done? All that kind of stuff. I really find that stuff very interesting. And yeah, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to these videos. Shout out to the King Squad, the King Squad family, the King Squad Elites. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.